Good day, and welcome to Far Reaches. We are four people from similar parts of the world who have wound up chasing different dreams and living different lives. We are Richard, Raleigh, Joel, and Micah. Richard and Micah are from Southeast Oregon, from two small ranching communities known as Pine Creek and Plush. Raleigh and Joel are from Northeast Oregon, from the Pendleton area. We met through college, mutual friends, and heard of stories of each other. Somehow wound up being at the same place at the same time. See, we live and work in different parts of the U.S. now and have all taken different paths to get to where we are. We all talk separately and live far apart. So we decided we should try and talk more together. We hope you come along and enjoy. Happens, as they would say. So, hey, hi, everyone, and welcome to the Far Reaches podcast. We're trying this live thing again because it's kind of fun. Keeps us on our toes. You got the Richard and the Micah at the moment. We'll see if Rawls crawls out from under a hay bale and see where Mr. Joel, he might be playing golf. He might be doing who knows what. So we'll see. If we get him, we get him. If we don't, we don't. We're going to make the best of it anyways, because that's what a reacher does, right? So Richard, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
Well, outstanding. So this episode, like all others, are brought to you by our really good friends at where, Richard?
B&K Auto Salvage.
Outstanding. Yes, located in the beautiful Grand Ronde Valley. That's south of LeGrand and beautiful downtown Baker City. So you got any, promo code Reacher still gets you a nice discount on parts you pick up at the counter or ones you come by and pull yourself. Or if you're getting some scrap done, which I highly recommend these days, get that place cleaned up, take advantage of that. You get a nice little bump on the scrap price. So if you're buying, the price is lower. If you're selling, the price is higher. Hard to beat that, really. I think that's some top-notch stuff there from our good friends at B&K. So we'll start this week like we do most of them with the reach around. I think we've kind of got a different strategy for this week too. We're going to try to keep it a little more to the point, maybe, I guess, or just fewer topics so we can talk about them more and see where that takes us. And see how that how the gang responds, because we're always trying to make things smarter, dare I say better. So Richard, let's do the old Dutch udder and get the reach around started.
Okay. Well, I wanted to say on behalf of not on behalf, but I was monitoring B&K Auto Salvage on Facebook this week, and they don't just do auto salvage during the week. They are also a fully functional destruction derby team, and
Yes.
we're tearing. And I can't think of a better way to combine work and play together than how would you like to be at Bo's destruction derby? You don't even have to take your car home at the end of the week. You just split them all up and salvages them.
Talking about going to where the work's at, like that guy, he's always got an angle, and I've really appreciated that about him for a long time. So that's awesome. Oh, it's too quality. Yeah. Oh, well said, good sir. Well said. Too good. So what's going on in your world, Richard? All sorts of chaos and destruction and fun.
Oh man, we are having a jam-packed week around here. Yeah. So last week we headed down to California to see my wife's parents, and then we stayed a couple of days on the beach or in the Bay Area, sort of on the other side of the peninsula there by San Francisco. Ate some oysters, just sort of relaxed. Then we went to my parents' anniversary with my siblings on the Delta, which is outside of Oakland, California, Brentwood, that area, inland. And not many people know this, but there's a Delta in Florida, in Georgia, and California, I think, are where the deltas are in our country. So really, we only have 3 deltas in the country. They're like these amazing filtration systems or lungs that work and sink this real interesting mix between seawater and freshwater and tides coming in and out. And so my sister Maura and Gareth and my sister Ricarda and Jesse and their family have leased an island down in the Delta. They're growing corn on it and bringing in some livestock where there hasn't been livestock in years, sheep and cattle. And who else knows what they're going to end up putting up there. So there was a hunting lodge on it, and we all met up there and hung out by the canal or the Delta waterways, and had a couple good days hanging out with the whole family, which rarely happens in the Bradbury family. So it was good times. Came back up to Lakeview. We're in the middle. We have we have the largest wildfire in the United States right now, just out our back door. And so
the bootstrap or boot hole or bootleg, yeah.
So that's causing all sorts of panic and turmoil. And we'll be bringing the cattle off the desert for the first time in the middle of the summer. Usually they make it till Labor Day, so Friday we're going to move about 1,000 head back down to Adel, and by some miracle, Jason got the hay all put up while I was gone, so that alleviated one problem. We were wondering if we'd even be able to get the hay put up by the time the cattle came home, and it's not going to all be up, but there'll be enough places for them. So other than that, I've been fighting with hunters about sage grouse, and hung up on a guy from a solar project that's here in yesterday, and just been spreading hate against Kent amounts everywhere I possibly can this week. I think I'm a little bit on the hook, but
so there's just no option but just to hang up. I love that. Like, I'm not even gonna cuss you. I'm just. And of course, now it's not as dramatic as it used to be when we actually had a phone. You know, you could actually slam. Now it's like, oh yeah, I ended that with authority. Yeah, but you used to be able to like mash the phone. You see kids,
a couple
phones.
times, like, repeatedly.
Yeah.
Just
Grab that cord and yard it out of the wall. Yeah, like. Yeah, the good old days.
He kept insisting that Lake County really needed them to be their savior and bring some much needed tax money, and just basically destroy the entire aesthetics of our value by stacking these moronic, boring solar panels end on end for thousands of acres. And I just heartfully disagreed with him.
Emphatically.
He fell into that "you dumb hick" condescending tone, and I told him, I said, if I wasn't against your project when we started this conversation, I definitely am out to stop you now. Yes. And
so not only you convinced me to go with you, you have convinced me to actively go against you. You have failed on all fronts, sir.
So, little unbeknownst to him, last text message we had, he goes, can we talk and get this straightened out? I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm out kicking rocks and chewing tobacco like us dumb hicks do. But really, I'm just waiting on some calls back from Houston, some people I know in the industry that also probably consider them dumb hicks from small towns, and got to get the lowdown on this company and see how legit they are and where their chinks in their armor are.
Oops a daisy. Yeah. I just had a meeting with somebody the other day, and we both agreed, like, go ahead, underestimate me all you want. That will just make it more fun for me. So enjoy. We weren't saying that to each other. We were saying that's what it's always fun when you walk into a meeting. It's like, oh, check out this guy. Yeah. Second generation to walk upright.
I really feel I should learn how to play the oh shucks dumb farmer type a little better, but it's just hard for me to execute.
You can only take it for so long, and then you're just like, no, I can't take it anymore.
I think I have a little bit too much of that hot Irish blood in me.
Yes, it's like, I think about there was one time that Kevy and we went to help Molly. And she was volunteering at like the local Boys and Girls Club or something. And so we were having a grand old time, doing our thing. We were playing some basketball, shooting some pool, and so Kevin's playing pool against this kid, and he's obviously like not trying. The kid's, the kid starts beating him, and then the kid starts talking trash to Kevy, and like that didn't sit well. So Kevin like just runs the table like 7 balls in a row, throws down the cue stick. It's like, Kevy, that's not the point. He was like, that'll teach him. Yeah. It was like the kid just starts giving him crap, like, you suck, man. Jeez. And Kevin's like, I'm done. Yeah, it was awesome. I have lots of favorite Kevy moments, but that's up there quite a ways just because of that. Yeah.
And I didn't even have to be there to picture it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and how was your week?
Oh, it's been crazy so far. Had it was great. We had a potential customer come to town, and I was like, oh crap, like we're like having dinner like the night before, and then we're meeting the next morning, and we're doing a tour, and we're doing conference room stuff. And I was just like, oh crap, I don't remember how to do all this. Like it's been like way too long. Like, what am I forgetting? So it was a little freaky at first. Honestly, I was like, oh man, I gotta find a good place and blah blah blah, and read, directions and send invites and hamana. And then I gotta remind the people in the lab, like we're having visitors tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. So had some awesome meetings. And what's that?
Put your pants on.
Sorry, yes, exactly. I did. I wore pants. I wore a sport coat. Like my boss was like, holy crap. Yeah. Because my usual office attire is like a button-down shirt and a pair of shorts and like my Allbirds shoes, which I never wear socks with. So, it's a special occasion if I have pants on and wearing socks. So, yeah, we went all out, but even got donuts in the morning, and she's like, oh, I've had donuts forever. This is awesome. And then, so anyways, it was really fun. It went great. What's that?
Uh-oh.
Are you on mute? No, you're not. I can hear you.
Little lag. I think I'm catching back up.
Okay. We'll let you get caught up with us. Where are you at?
Go ahead.
Cool. So anyways, we had a great meeting and a lot of fun, and I turns out I remember how to do all that. So that went well. But and then I got some time early this morning. I was outside working on my outdoor shower. So it's almost done. Basically, it's operational now. And I got some brick laid down into it. And I got like a solar shower, like all one unit stand that like a garden hose plugs in the bottom, and it heats up. It holds like 10 gallons of water, and it's made of black PVC, so it warms up throughout the day, and it's got like an actual like shower valve on it. It's got a valve at the bottom to blast water out if you want to wash your hands off or your feet or something. So kind of high-tech redneck in there. I got to tell you, with the it's right next to the pool, so you can get done working, you can shower up, you can jump in the pool, you can shower back up again. If you just want to shower up before you come in the house or wash up quickly, it's a nice warm water. So yeah, and I got about I guess about $100 in it, or a little bit more with the shower stand and everything. But yeah, about $60 and other materials. Everything else, as they say, repurposed. So yeah, it's been a fun project. So I'll get some pictures up sometime. But yeah, so just working and playing around the house. But it was good to remember that I can host a good meeting and follow up with our customers like I used to. So yeah. Oh, what a lovely little reach around that was. Did you freeze, or are you listening intently to somebody? He's coming back. There's my Richard. Can you hear me now? Almost. closer. I think you're on the mute. Yeah, you're on the mute.
There.
There
Yes,
you
I'm
go.
on the mute. My wife was giving me instructions.
Good. As well she should. Yes. That should have happened a long time ago. Probably does anyways. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, anything else for your reach around, Mr. Bradbury? Pretty good.
No, I don't want anything more from my reach.
You got the bonus plan. Yeah. Oh, it's quality. So, did you get a chance to read the book or listen to it?
Oh crap! I was wondering which movie we were doing. What book did we end up doing?
That was that Welcome Home to Murder, that Irish cozy mystery by Cindy Klein.
Oh,
It
crap!
happens. It
No,
happens.
and I did the next day after our thing. I did listen to the podcast, and the next day I went to see if I could get it on Audible, but it's not an Audible option.
It's only on Amazon.
I
I
had
think.
every intention of doing it.
Yeah, it's just not.
Yeah, I did download it. So I had the right intentions, but
That's
my week got away
more
from
than
me a
half
little
the
bit.
battle. Yeah, you guys had a chaotic week. This was the first book. There's two
Yeah.
others. The third one just came out. So I thought I'd kick us off with that. And I'd done a Far Reaches extra with Cindy a few weeks ago as well. But I thought I'd had it on my list to do for a while. And then we did some Reacher requests for Entertainment Spotlight for a couple weeks in a row. So it got pushed back a little ways. But yeah. Great books, quick reads. Like, I mean, not a quick read, but like you can do it over the weekend, pretty easy, just relaxing and reading a little bit. And if you want to get it on, it's not on audio version yet, i.e. book on tape, but that's something that the author might be looking at in the future. So that could be cool as well. That always adds an extra layer when you get a chance to just listen to it, especially if you travel. But it's a good quick read. There's a nice paperback where you can get it on the Kindle. There you are.
Hang on, I'm trying to get on my laptop to see if it improves.
That'd be good. We'll make, hey, we just improvise, adapt, and overcome. That's what a Reacher does. So yeah, so highly recommend the books.
Yeah, it's really difficult because most people don't realize that this is what I'm doing the entire podcast, because I do try and do it when everybody else is talking. But yeah, so I'm trying to keep up and trying to not make Micah feel too much dead air, but it doesn't seem to be working very well.
Hey, I'm having fun. It's a good thing to practice too.
The fire may be having severe effects on our internet. Is what I'm thinking.
Well, I was going to ask you that because it was my guess it would be, just because so many more people are probably in the region now than normal, and probably on at different hours than they normally would be as well.
Yeah, I got a fire camp just 2 blocks from the house here, and then there's one at the fairgrounds. Then that doesn't count imagine a lot of the dispatch and stuff's going out of actual Lakeview, so they probably brought in extra people for that. So we may be topping out our little T1 line coming into town.
There's a distinct possibility in that, yes. So which brings, I think, one of the topics we decided to kind of shift up the structure a bit too on Far Reaches, just to see how we like it and kind of keep it more focused, as I mentioned at the beginning of the hour. So, we had the topic of the week we kind of kicked around, and one thing that came to mind was wildfires in the West, especially. And I think it ties to many factors about, obviously, environment, but also the management and then the response. And, there's growing up in that part of the world, you hear continued horror stories about a fire starting when it's an acre or two, and if the right people could have got there when they were supposed to, it would be out, or if they just would have responded in a reasonable amount of time, it would have been handled. And so I thought, given the fact there's a fire creeping up your back porch, and you'd had some interesting comments on LinkedIn today about it too, that would be a nice topic of the week. So I don't know if you're
I will say with this particular fire, I'm not going to throw the Forest Service under the bus because the conditions were just right for it.
yeah,
I will throw them under the bus, but not for this fire.
not for this one. Yeah.
Yeah. This fire, I have been on lots of fires over my life. When I was doing back in a previous career, I've seen all sorts of fires. I've seen fires that you would look at and consider a joke. And then I've seen the real deal. And this one is probably one of the 5 biggest fires I've ever seen. And the conditions are all just right for it. And it seems to be laying down right now, but that can change at a moment's notice. And technically right now it's 4 different fires. And by tomorrow it could have split, and they could be fighting fire on 4 different fronts. And then what happens that's super interesting, and I'm sure everybody said this, but the columns go up in the afternoon with the thermals, and they pick up a tremendous amount of heat, but at some point the columns get too heavy and they collapse back down through themselves, and then they create their own weather, and that creates a wind that pushes it away from the column in like 360 degrees. What gets really interesting is when you have 4 fires in the same industry, they all column and collapse at the same time, and you get this horrific wind event, and the fire just they pretty much grow exponentially until you can get some sort of control over it. And the nature of the fire right now is there's no control over it. So maybe they'll catch some good breaks. It'll lay down a couple nights and they can get some hand crews and get it down. But I'd say another couple good days of bad hot weather, and it'll be 0% contained again, but it'll be 4 fires.
And it's what, around 200,000 acres or so right now, maybe a little bit bigger?
I'd say it's getting close to 3. Oh, Elena says they can't hear us on Facebook. Oh, they can't hear me.
Oh.
Anyways.
Yeah, nobody's complaining about that. I just read. Yeah.
Just my wife.
That's from Bo and Amy, both say, not complaining. Yeah. So I can hear you loud and clear, Micah, just not Richard. So that's weird. I wonder what's going on. Bradbury's very quiet today. Volume issue. That's weird. I can hear Bradbury very well.
Let me on my computer. I'm in the waiting room.
Oh, hold on a second.
Do 14 things at once.
Dance, little monkey. Yeah. So I'm gonna. It says you're joining, so we'll try that.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Unmute that again, Richard. Sorry.
Oh, there we go. How's that?
Try that. Yes.
All right.
Can we hear the Richard now?
Apparently I'm not joining.
There we are. Now we're gonna have 2 Richards. We're gonna have 2 Richards.
See, I want to continue. Where was audio?
So turn off or stop that one.
We're gonna bitch about the feedback.
Yeah, so stop one of them at least. Yeah. That's hilarious. What a mess. This is awesome. Now you're breaking up. You sound like Max Headroom's special brother. And you're frozen. Now we can't hear you at all. Well, I can't even hear you now. You're frozen, it looks like. Yeah. Negative, Ghost Rider. No Bradbury. Oh, no. Yeah. Keep talking. We got one, tell you. Oh.
That might be me.
Keep on reaching, brother. Keep on reaching. You're just froze on my screen. I can
There we
hear you
go.
randomly.
Is that better?
Keep talking. You're still
Damn
frozen.
it.
Good grief. Now we lost him again. And you think this stuff is easy and fun. Well, it is both of those actually, because luckily for me, I'm perfectly comfortable talking to myself as well. As a matter of fact, I do it quite often, and even I sometimes argue. But guess what? I always tend to win those too. So looks like Richard's coming back one more time. We'll try the Bradbury again. Let's see. He must be probably on a dial-up. He's probably pedaling a bike to keep the internet going, if I know Richard. Hello, Bradbury. And keep talking. I can't hear you yet. You menace. Say again. What are you doing? Now we got like 3 Bradburys. You can only do like one at a time usually.
Okay, sorry. Shutting everything else down.
This is like the first time you've ever done. This is the first time, folks. We're trying this. We've never Zoomed before. We've never had a virtual meeting. I think we almost got it figured out. That's hilarious. I got like 7 screens up, no volume. Yeah, so let's try that now. Richard, hello.
We had a good run.
Yes, I can hear you. I think. Everybody out there in Facebook land, can you hear the Bradbury? You hear the Bradbury? I love that. Amy says, Richard, can you see the comments? Oh, we lost Richard. Seems like we've done that, been down that road before. So
oh man.
This is Kevin's favorite saying. Yeah, I lost the Irishman last night. Yeah. It was always the gathering of the masses in the morning after, especially when we were in a foreign town like Corvallis, perhaps.
I was always impressed at how easy that was to find, though.
Well, there was a pretty good wake of destruction and people that were probably still crying when we were looking for you. So I'm like, oh, there's a tipped over bike. There's a concrete duck. There's a boot. There's the Richard. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Too funny.
Yeah.
Oh, so anyways, I think we were trying to talk about wildfires until we had like a top quality technical meltdown. So
yes. So what I will say is I think that we need to have a real honest conversation about how we're going to manage our forests going into the future, because it's seems to be split between these 2 philosophies on forest management. One, let it be maintained by itself, let it be wild. And 2, manage it in some sort of fashion, thin some trees out, thin some underbrush out, do some sane controlled burns. Like, let's not start doing prescribed burns in June. Let's try and, do some of those in
early spring,
March, April,
or
May.
Yeah, you get that mosaic burn pattern as we've always learned about. And I always go back to the point, like, look, we started managing this thing at some point, and so we're kind of stuck with it now, honestly.
Yeah. And before we got here, white ice, the Indians were doing a pretty good damn job of managing and burning stuff also. So I don't think that I don't think it's as wild as a lot of people believe it is.
It definitely evolved under fire. Like, think about pine cones, dude, or pine trees. Like, the pine cone actually opens up when fire comes along, and that's how the seeds drop out. Like, that's a pretty cool thing.
And I think maybe it's time to turn the management of the forest over to the individual states. I know it's heresy And I know people fear that states like Texas won't have national parks and all that BS, but I have come to the point where I'm just going to say it. The politics in Washington, D.C. make it impossible for a federal agency to manage the natural resources of this country. And I'd much prefer to fight with Portland over how we manage the forest than some schmuck in Washington, D.C. that's on the take and is corrupt as hell. I don't want to, no offense to Florida, but I don't want the junior senator from Florida weighing in on how we manage our forest in Oregon. That's just absolutely asinine and ridiculous. So I don't care if there's money to go around and each state applies for grants to do different forest management, but let's keep the day-to-day management and overall long-term strategy and long-term stuff. Let's put it in the hands of the state, and hopefully the states will have enough sense to let the local people there. I'm not mad at anybody in the Forest Service. I'm mad at the leadership. I mean, you got people in Washington, D.C. that are leaders, that are longtime bureaucrats in the government. They can work for the Forest Service for 14 years, and then they can go over and run a project at NASA and vice versa. How broken is that system? Once you reach a certain GI level, you can transfer across government agencies. You know what? I don't need anybody from the what is the housing department, the housing development, HUD. Yeah, I don't want somebody from HUD running a national forest or a state forest. That's ridiculous. So let's keep the guys that went to the forestry schools in charge of the forest, and let's keep the guys that are MIT launching rockets. And let's not mix the two up. I think that the specialties are supposed to be how they are supposed to be. So, yeah, I don't think that the astronauts want to be riding on a rocket that some guy that has a degree in forestry from OSU is overseeing.
Well, that's a great point too. Yeah. I'm a really pretty good, decent ecologist, but I'm probably a pretty crappy rocket scientist. So,
yeah. So, you know, I'm mad as hell at our government, but I'm not putting it off on the agencies anymore. You know what the problem is? It's the corrupt, our representatives that are corrupt as hell in Washington. And I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, if you belong to the Sloth Party or the I Love Hitler Party. It doesn't matter to me. If you're going to Washington, D.C. with $70 in your bank account and you come out of it 14 years later with 75 million, our system is effed. It is broken beyond belief. And the only people that are suffering is the citizens that keep electing these retards into office. It's time for term limits. And the other thing I'm done with is you shouldn't be able to work as a federal employee your entire life. 15 years max. And then you need to get out and shuck it with the rest of us poor slubs. I mean, take your pension away, take your benefits with you. I don't care, but you need to go get a private sector job as a librarian or something. But you can't just dead ass it in Washington as a bureaucrat your entire life. It's just, I'm done with it. So yeah, no more career politicians, no more career government employees. That needs to be over. It needs to stop now.
I would agree, especially on the politicians. That is, you know, they put a term limit on the presidency, and at the very same time they didn't do it with the House and the Senate. Like, how did that ever get by and not come to be? I don't understand. You know, it should have been at the very same time, because obviously who was putting it together, but yeah, there should have been.
I think at that time in our history, they were begging people to go to Washington and be senators. They're like, no, I want to go. I want to stay here in Martha's Vineyard and tend my cotton, tobacco. Yeah, I don't want to go to Washington. So
there's that. But yeah, like I said last week, like it should just be a lottery drawing, like jury duty. Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
For some damn reason, Richard, we're still not getting volume on the Bradburr, apparently. I don't know why. Yeah. So, interesting. We'll have to figure
Sorry,
that out.
Facebook.
We're going to end the live for now. We'll still keep the other one going, obviously, but Fat Malin. You know what's pathetic? Not hearing Richard is the most interesting thing I have going on at this moment. Pat's usually about ready to run out of diesel or break down somewhere. So that's probably a vast improvement for him. So. Oh, it's awful. I wish I could figure out why your volume's not coming through on Facebook, because it's loud and clear on mine. Like I can hear you obviously better than usual. So I just don't know, man. It don't make no sense. It's weird.
Might be here. Might be because I wasn't here when you started the original deal.
It shouldn't be it. Like you should be able to come on pretty much anytime and get your Bradburr on. So yeah, probably because I don't know what I'm doing per se really on this whole live thing either. So I don't know. It's pretty straightforward though, really. Like you hit a button. There's a 1,000 ways to come on.
Try and start it again.
What's that? Oh, let's try to do live again. Yeah, we can try that. And so for those of you listening now, we are trying this over. For those of you listening on the regular podcast going, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, we were trying live. We were having some issues. Couldn't hear Richard, which is not good. Some people didn't really mind it. So we're going to try it again. Yeah. So don't take that personal either, Richard. They were still watching. So yeah, you know, it's what being a reacher is all about is getting crapped on every once in a while. So yeah, let's do that. Share screen. And there's all these cool things we get to do with the, I figured out this afternoon. So let's try that. We'll see how we go. Let's see if this works again. So yeah, this is what we do. We don't weaken. We keep on going. We make it happen. Right or wrong or indifferent. And we have fun doing it. So we're going to go live again here in 3, 2, 1. And we're back on the Facebook, hopefully. See how that works again. So good idea, Richard. Just shut her down and start over. So, I mean, it's like, you know, the classic, have you tried turning your phone off? Have you tried turning your computer off? We're just going to give her hell and see what happens.
Reboot.
So, reboot. Yeah. Have you tried turning it off? Well, no. Well, then, obviously, you're not doing anything right. Yeah. So, look at this. I even got the update.
What I fracked, we'd have these, we'd have 10, 2,500 horsepower pumps hooked together, all networked together. They each had their own little Microsoft operating system. And so one thing you wanted to listen to was that the pump wasn't going to physically explode. The other thing was half the time the computer was hanging up. And it was hilarious because we always had an IT guy on every job site. And he'd sit in his van and wait for the time when he'd come and be the star and fix something. But he would not even get out of the van until you rebooted the computer. So we'd be bitching about the pump service or something would be going wrong. It'd be a little glitchy. And we'd be calling for the IT guy. And he'd be like, did you reboot the pump yet? And we're like, we're in the middle of a stage. We can't reboot. Just reboot the pump. I don't want to talk to you until it's rebooted.
How do I get out of my van?
It's universal.
That was one of the funnier recent SNL characters too, was the IT guy who was always like really like just huffy and pissy and like type like with one hand, like super fast. I think it might even been like Jimmy Fallon might have been that character, I think. Anyways, it was the company IT guy. It was always that dude. Yeah. So never dull. But we were still talking. You had ran it on quite well, I might add, about I think returning control of forests and I think other things too to the state level. And I completely agree. I've been talking about that for a while, especially as in the past couple of years about some of the election stuff we've gone through. That state control is more important now than ever, and I think that's really how this republic was set up too. That's why it's called the United States, because there was a lot of power and sovereignty placed in the states, and I think it should have been kept that way. And I really, especially when it comes to natural resource management, on the local level, on how that impacts the whole state process and moves forward from there. So couldn't agree more. Especially when you have people that have, yeah, you can be pretty smart when it comes to science, but if you've never even been to a place or you don't know how that impacts everything else that goes on, I think it's difficult to make accurate decisions upon that. More policy that's blanket for the entire, country, if you will. I know every forest should have management programs and et cetera, but still, oftentimes that gets ground down or bumped over based on federal ideals and budgetary constraints and et cetera. So yeah, I couldn't agree more than I think it needs to be a state control deal and move on from there. And then the whole term limits, absolutely, I was against those for a long time because I had the naive point of view of like, well, that's why we have voting, that's what term limits are. But turns out if there's nobody else running against some of these people, or they just have such name recognition and it's hard to beat that sometimes. And so I think, yeah, you should never, like you said, you shouldn't have $17 and you show up and 17 million when you leave. That's that's it's just not right. So say something,
I was
Richard.
just checking the fire. It blew up.
Oh, it
I
did.
was just looking at the fire. I got a map that updates live, and yeah, it's making a huge run right now.
So it's to the west of Lakeview, correct?
Yes.
West, yes. Northwest, or just due west?
Actually, it's due west right now.
Okay.
The bulk of it. So maybe a little bit northwest.
Okay. So. How far west of Lakeview?
Yeah. Oh. I'd say it's about, let me see here. It's about, I think it's 30 miles, 25 miles still. So not the end of the world, but it's a little bit farther east than Bly right now.
Okay. Dang.
So
getting hammered. Yeah. Especially if it's just blowing back up and it's 6:30, almost 7 o'clock at night there, right? So yeah, it should be calming down a little bit usually in the evenings.
Yeah. So
you would hope,
but
yeah, maybe one of these big things like this will hopefully shed some light back on. I don't know if you're ever going to wrestle it away from the federal level. That's the sad part. I don't know what it's going to take to get that to happen.
I don't know how we can simultaneously be having a conversation about climate change and have it be one of the major priorities at a federal level and just turn the other way when we have these ginormous wildfires. And like, this is just the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it's July still. It's like early in the season.
And it's not getting any more humid. No. There's no rain in the outlook. And California hasn't even begun to burn yet. And so I don't know that there's much left to burn. I mean, we are fundamentally changing the look of the regions of the country that are the West through fire.
Yeah. So you have the short-term impacts of all the smoke and everything going into the atmosphere. And then you have a huge reduced volume of trees that are actually, doing their whole photosynthesis gig and sequestering carbon and all that fun stuff too.
Yeah. Oh, and my other gripe is the other thing about we need to get out. The reason why we can't solve these problems is because we have our corporations intertwined with our politicians. That's why they come out with $17 million.
Yeah.
And that just, I don't know why it's not as clear as possible that that little part of our system needs to completely come to an end. If you're a corporation, you should have to get a pass to step into Washington, D.C., and you should have somebody from the FBI on your ass the entire time to make sure that you never interact with a senator or congressman. The only people that should be lobbying the city, their congressmen, are regular citizens that come from those people's districts or people that band together enough to have a loud voice. But the days of the corporations running the country, and I'm a capitalist as much as anybody, but
Through and through.
what
Yeah.
has happened to our republic is completely out of control. And there is no reason that any corporation should have this much influence over the direction of our country.
Mhm.
And we see it in our forests, we see it in our prairies, we see it in our farmlands. We can no longer tolerate, for the health of our society, we can no longer have these corporations intertwined in government. And there needs to be a real clear separation between what they can do and what they can't do. And it's gonna take some really tough decisions, and we're gonna have to reverse this path that we're on, because I'm mad about this all the time. I'm just super amped up about it because of the fires right now. But
it's been
why we have
yeah.
This is why the food in the United States is killing us. This is why you can't eat anything in the middle of the market. This is why our soils are being degraded. This is all these things. It all stems between corporations and politicians, and the citizens are just getting the shaft on it completely all the way around. And the ironic thing is we're paying for this whole mess, whether we're paying through our taxes or whether we're paying into these corporations. And we're not seeing anything back. And they're just robbing the resources of our country. And then there's nowhere to go. This is happening all over the world.
And this isn't a Republican, this isn't a Democrat thing. This is a political thing. This is a government thing. All sides. I'm not saying everybody's up to their ass in it, but it's just that whole entire system is how it's been degraded and bastardized to the point it is now, that this is how it quote unquote functions, and it couldn't be any further from where it's supposed to be from how it was designed. Yeah, I just got feedback. Still can't hear you.
I thought it was on my oh, damn it.
I know it's getting recorded on Zoom, so we'll be able to put it out anyways. But yeah, because this is some prime stuff here. But yeah, I'm beside myself why it's not working on our live at all. We'll try it a different way next time. So this is kind of like the lazy live way. I think we can do like StreamYard. We can try it that way too, I guess. Huh? Let's try it that way. What the hell? Yeah. We're going to end this, kids.
Yeah.
And we're going to go through StreamYard and try it that direction and see how that works. So hang on tight and we'll be right back. More live from the Far Reaches podcast. Oh, that's awesome. So StreamYard, create broadcast, Facebook, title. We are back again.
Yeah, we could do it on the next episode. I give you all my password stuff.
Well, I have a StreamYard thing set up too. I just don't know exactly how to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
it's super easy.
So we'll see what that now I've lost connection with my camera.
There's gonna be some editing in this one for you. I'll just edit out this 5 minutes where we tried to master the
yeah. I'm just gonna let it roll because I think that's how we do things anyways. Yeah. So we'll see if we can come back in a second.
I'll criticize your pillows while you're doing that.
I was gonna move them again, then I was like, oh, this would be good for Bradbury. Yeah. So
that other one's more centered under the window this time, and the other one's a little bit too far to the right.
And just slightly like moving them like a 1/4 inch at a time, you know. Yeah, that would be hilarious. share screen, window, Zoom, share, go live. Is that what you do? Go live. Let's try this. Yeah, I think I got the free version still, but it might, we'll try it again. So, all right, now, so we're on, what the hell is this? StreamYard? Does that show back up on the Facebook, Richard? I have it connected. Is that what it's supposed to be doing?
I was trying to help my broadband, so I logged out.
Oh, okay. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Hold on. I gotta. Oh yeah, Far Reaches is live again. So let's try that. Cool.
Yeah. We
Sweet.
tried again.
Third time might be the charm. Who the hell knows? Yeah. So I'll be downloading other programs in the background.
Could be the time. Could be this time.
That's awesome. This afternoon I was like, man, this is going live stuff. I hope I get it all figured out. I better take a few minutes and get it figured. And then I get here and I'm like, oh, it's just an absolute cluster as always. I'm just gonna run with it. So yeah, we're giving her hell.
Since this is Barstool time with Richard and Micah.
Yeah.
We're giving them the full experience.
Keep the change, you filthy animal. Yeah. So enjoy that, you poor bastards. Yeah, it's
seeing
been
if I can
crazier.
hear myself.
No, that'll drive you nuts, won't it? Yeah.
That is just weird.
Isn't that funky monkey? Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing? Huh.
All right. Enough of that.
We'll see.
Anyways.
We'll see.
So what's next?
Well, we've had a pretty good little discussion about the topic of the week, which was the wildfire. I think, we agree that you probably shouldn't have control burns now when it's just dry as crap and absolute chaos. Should definitely be localized control. I think that's probably, if there's anything that could be changed now, it would be that for sure. Just because I think obviously when you're there and it's impacting you directly, I think it's gonna be a little bit different too. I think you're, not to say you'd make any different choices or decisions, but we'll find out. Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
so there's that, and I think obviously term limits. Yeah.
I do have one other slight bitch about the fire program in the United States.
All right, let it rip, Tater Chip.
And I think this gets the politician. I think this gets the politicians off the hook a lot. And what I'm going to say is not going to be very popular with a lot of people. But when these fires happen, the first thing that happens is there's this tremendous groundswell of support for the firefighters.
Mhm.
The firefighter hero. God bless the firefighters. We support our firefighters. Well, that's really great. And we support them, and I love that. I support them also, and I'm glad they're out there doing the job. But what it does take away from, and what it buffers the leadership that run the forest from, is having a real conversation about what is going on. And they are able to sort of redirect any ire or any discontent, because God forbid you say something bad about the heroic and noble efforts of the firefighters during the fire. And I think that the government gets away with hiding behind 19 to 30-year-olds that are just out there trying to do a job so that they can get a start in life or pay for college.
Or pay college off, or
if
do
that's
whatever
not the most weak.
Yeah.
If that's not weak sauce, sort of shuffling your responsibility off, I don't know what is.
But that's a great point
So,
too. I think they take advantage of that.
Firefighters.
They'll take advantage of that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
cracktacular in the very
Harumph.
least. Yeah. Harumph indeed. Yeah. So I was trying to change some of the the volume settings or something so we could figure out why the hell we still can't hear the Bradbury, but I don't know what's going on with that. So yeah, that's weird. Richard, tough side of your computer. Yeah. Even through StreamYard, we can't. We'll try it again some other time on that. But yeah, chaos, I say, chaos. So, Richard, you have the next entertainment spotlight. Once again, will be brought to you by our good friends at B&K Auto Salvage. Promo code Reacher. So if you want to go have them pull you apart, if you want to go pull your own, they're more than happy for you to wander around the yard and do that. If you got some scrap, they'll give you a bump. But Richard, what do you got for our next entertainment spotlight as far as a book or movie or poem or cassette or album or etc.? Yeah.
I have a YouTube video,
Oh, wow. Cool.
and it's called Math Has a Fatal Flaw. And it's by Verodiism. I'll spell it out for you. Veritasam.
Hold on. Veritas.
And my computer just died.
Veritas. Is that what you said?
USIM. Like it ends like gymnasium.
Hold on a second. I might have something figured out. Maybe. Can you hear us now? Try this. Spell that again, Richard, too. I have Veritas. What? Veritas.
Right. Veritasium. My computer just died. So the video is called Math
Has a fatal flaw.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll be able to track it down from there.
Really cool. It's really cool video. It starts off talking about infinity in real numbers, and then infinity in like decimals. So it shows how like the infinity that's greater in the I don't know what the right number for it is, integer numbers. So like the fractions or the decimals, they go, if you imagine a number line, it's the real numbers from here to infinity, but then you have all the numbers like 1.25, 1.26, 1.2, and on and on and on, and all those numbers. So that infinity is actually greater than the infinity of the real timeline. So there's actually multiple there's actually multiple infinities. And then there's all these cool paradoxes and things that they can't explain. Like when things synchronize, that's not supposed to happen. Like the Tacoma Bridge, when they were, or like there's a bridge in World War II, I believe, that the British were marching over, and they were so in sync with their marching that it actually caused the bridge to collapse. And like there was no way that the engineer that designed the bridge could ever anticipate that the synchronized marching would cause such a destructive force that would collapse the bridge.
Yeah.
So so it just talks about like we don't completely understand math, and there's a lot of stuff that we count on that can't be explained. So it's a super cool, the whole channel's cool, the stuff he talks about. One of the things he does is he has a bet with a physicist about a propeller car that actually it can actually go faster. So the wind drives it, but the wind only so fast. But the car can actually at some point go faster than the mechanism that's driving it. And there's this professor that said that's not possible. He's a physics professor. He goes, that is not possible. So they made a $10,000 bet, and the guy won because that particular car, it did actually go faster than what it should have gone. And it's a crazy looking car. It's got a propeller way like 16 foot above the driver, and it looks like one you'd see racing on the Bonneville Salt Flats. Really narrow, the little hubs over it's like a trike. It's got one wheel in front,
Yeah.
two wheels in the back. They got the little aerodynamic covers over them, and it's the weirdest looking thing. But yeah, it's just this. He finds all this crazy stuff, and I've been watching a lot of the videos. And as a video producer, he's matured over the years. So like his first ones were like 8 minutes, and now like the fatal flaw with the flaw in math one is was 34 minutes. Just really cool. So
Awesome.
I'd watch the math one, but anybody can watch any of them. It's just it's a really cool little YouTube channel. So
I'll get a link to that for sure when I get it figured out. We're going to sign off of the live too, since we still can't hear the Bradbury for some damn reason. So we will quit torturing people of just seeing us both and kind of hearing me, the poor bastard. So yeah, we'll stop that for now. That's crazy.
It's hard to look at all this wonderfulness and not be able to hear it.
Yeah,
It's gotta be
exactly.
frustrating.
I mean, talk about punishment, really. That's only thing worse would be only hearing you and not seeing you. Yes.
It's like the stripper that doesn't take her top off at the nude bar.
I'm not near as interested in your story. Yeah, sorry. Oh, math has a fatal flaw. That's awesome. I dig it. Well, do you still want to do best thing of the week?
Oh, you want my word?
We can do your word. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's
You're probably
actually
gonna get this
yeah.
one.
All right.
I had 3 words I had to look up this week. One was convoluted.
Oh yeah.
Pretty sure I knew what it meant, but I want to make sure I used it correctly. I can't remember the other one, but onus was one of them.
Oh, the onus is
use it
on you
correctly.
to figure out, i.e.,
Yes.
if you're convoluted or not.
So it's quite funny to watch me say these words into my phone, because it is clearly obvious that Google has not trained the AI to recognize all the words yet, because onus, convoluted, and I can't remember what the other one, sanctimonious.
Oh,
They cannot do either of those 3 words.
oh, that's because they probably against you pegged as a redneck, and like you're not supposed to know any of those words. So
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
there's something wrong. This can't be what he's really talking about.
So those are my words I used today. But I didn't know how many people would know onus, so I'm really sort of disappointed that Joel wasn't on.
Oh yeah, because that's a good word.
So
You don't hear it very often anymore, too. Especially like the onus is on you to make sure your speech is not too convoluted.
it's really funny. I know words that, and I'm not saying this to brag. I just think it's interesting about technology. I know words that I know are words, but like at first glance, like in the typical dictionaries and define on Google, you cannot find them. You actually have to go into like the Merriam-Webster's dictionary to get them, because there's a lot of words I think that are just getting left at the wayside, and there's some good ones. So yeah,
Absolutely. I think I'm gonna credit our education we had, especially with junior and senior English too. Vocabulary was always a real strong focus in a lot of my English classes, and I remember, I don't know, some placement test or something. Maybe it was we used to take like tests in school too to see how we were doing, but like freshman or sophomore year, I was testing at like a junior or senior level in college for vocabulary, just because of the classes I'd had and how that had been pounded into us. And I think we still take a lot of that with us, especially in our writing.
It's interesting that you say, those are hick words, you're locked out of it. But if you read Cormac McCarthy or King Kingsley, the vocabularies that they assemble in their books, I don't even know how many individually unique words there are in Sometime a Great Notion, or like All the Pretty Horses. That has Spanish in it also, but it's actually incredibly impressive that one person can have that vast variety and diversity of words in their vocabulary. And Corbett McCarthy has it in 2 different languages, which is exceptional. And like he has went back and found a lot of old words that I even had to look up. That
Which I think is cool.
They make sense, and you can see where other words, where other words are derived from them. But I never had any idea that the origin
Just
was
clear
on
back
this
that far.
continent.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
just a few generations, it's completely been lost.
You have to wonder, is it going to continue to dwindle further, or will it have a natural reawakening? Because I think people inherently like to go back and rediscover things, or I don't know, they get so to the point where it's automated or it doesn't express like they want, then they're going to go, I guess, are we still headed towards idiocracy, or is it going to loop back to hopefully some more eloquence and some enhanced vocabulary again?
I think it'll loop back. I think we're going through this weird transition where we're trying to master this new medium, the information age. There's just so much information to acquire that our space monkey brains just, they're like, I quit. I don't know what to do. Let's go stab somebody. That's
I can't fling poo, so I will stab something. That is basically where we're at.
I'm gonna go make a scene on Facebook. So no, I don't think we have the capacity, and I don't think, like, my son's generation, they'll probably be better at it, but his kids' generation, they're probably gonna have it mastered, and we'll probably see another Renaissance type of situation there. And maybe we'll be alive to benefit from it. We'll have hover wheelchairs and
take that, stairs.
AI robotic nurses to give us sponge baths, and they'll be all Blade Runner and shit. But it's
We can only hope. I mean, if we're going to stick around for that long, I hope so. But I guess there's probably only so much we can do with any sort of level of competence at any one time. And so, since we're all focused on just, in some regards, just basic survival, we're still not going back to the, we're not exploring those routes. We've kind of gone our separate ways. So as this becomes old hat, perhaps they'll circle back. That would be awesome.
Can you imagine the child that hasn't been born and won't be born for 20 years that will be like our nurse's assistants, and we'll be joking with them, and we'll be like, that's what she said.
Yeah,
exactly. And they'll just roll their eyes.
I can't wait for that.
I don't want to hear it from you, you young whippersnapper. You don't even know how to drive a clutch.
Yeah. I'm saying that now. Like, that is... I've pulled up to valet hotels like several years ago with my Challenger, and they're just looking in there like, nope. Especially like mine was even worse because it was just a pistol grip. It didn't even have R through 6 on it. And I'm like, well, get in, show me where valet is, and I'll drive it over there. So yeah, they were just like, nope.
You're packing my bags though.
Yeah, you're carrying all my stuff back, you little bastard. And that happened like even like 3 or 4 years before that. We were at range meetings in Salt Lake, and this is how redneck, or like, I guess you just don't get. We thought we were pretty cool because we'd got a new used crew cab pickup at the ranch, and so we drove that because that's the newest rig we have, and it's a 6-speed, which was like, we were all super happy. Then we get to the nice hotel in Salt Lake. They're like, we can't drive this. And so again, we had to go park it. But like, our fanciest, best rig that we were super proud of, they're like, nope, I've never seen nothing like this, sir. So you're on your own. Just the relativity of what's cool and what is foreign.
I really feel is like I'm to the age where Bluetooth might be the last evolution I can make.
That's it. I'm done. No more. What's beyond that? Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's getting easier though. Like I just got a new phone the other day, and it's like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to go program every stupid thing again. Apparently, they've taken all that out now. I got back in my car, and it's like pair. I'm like, thank you, like instantly. So it's like it's all there, like memorized. It got transferred over. So Apple's getting better at making every iteration between your phone snazzier, thankfully, without the 8,000 reprograms. That's always the hard part. Well, one of them, anyways. It's bad enough when you got to put your password in 18,000 times again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember my password. Why would I know that? That's just mean.
I remember like the 18 months where you'd have to enter the password in your phone and in the vehicle.
Oh yeah, does this add up? 0178265 Yeah. Then you're like, oh crap.
And I remember
No.
thinking, I was like, this is so cool. And now if I had to do that, I was like, what a bunch of horse shit this is.
That used to be my biggest gripe when you'd get in a rental car and there was 6 other people before you and they were all had downloaded their phone and connected it. And then you had to go delete all of them before you're going to get yours to hook up to the Bluetooth again. So you could have navigation in your phone for your drive. Like, damn it, I don't have time for this. Yeah. So it's like they should delete all these between everything. Like they somewhat clean the car and steam clean it. They really should delete all the phone connections for the Bluetooth and especially in CarPlay. I know first world problems, but that is what
I get pissed off now if Netflix hasn't picked the right shit for me to watch. Or if I get on YouTube and
it's like you don't even know me.
I don't watch this. Yeah, I don't watch this. Why would they put this in my feed? I'd never watch this in a million years.
Has somebody been messing with me? This is just wrong. You listen to me all day long. How do you not know what I want to listen to today? I hear you. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. Oh, good grief. Yeah. So, well, let's skip over to the best thing of the week. And then I think we'll probably put a bow on this one, sort of abbreviated test run of the updated far reaches. What do you think? Can you hear me now? Can you still hear me?
Am I supposed to be talking?
Yeah, I was going to say we're going to skip over to the best thing of the week, and then we'll put a bow on it. Yeah.
I had a great week. I mean, other than everything, all
yeah,
all the destruction and chaos that I had to come home to, but we drove until 10 o'clock at night on Thursday night so that we could spend all day at Bodega Bay and then stay there one more night and slept in. And so the best part was being able to spend time with Elena and Richard away from everything and just have some quality family time. Unfortunately, the dogs were locked in the vet, but we need a break from them too. But I will tell you this, I had this small moment that was really nice. And so Friday morning, we woke up at Bodega Bay. It was fogged in. It was like 45 degrees. I walked out of the house. There's a little store down the about 3 or 4 houses down. You have to risk life and limb on Highway 1 to get there. But because they don't do sidewalks on Highway 1.
No.
Anyways.
Waste of space.
Yeah, well, walk out, stretching my t-shirt, and look down the road, and there's some people with down coats on getting out to go out for their adventure, and I was like, wow. Anyways, so and then I walked down to the little market, and I grabbed a cup of coffee, and I cruised around and looked at all the souvenirs, and walked back, and it's just really nice to take a little stroll down the way and get some coffee while your wife and kid sleeps and nice and foggy and just be in a different atmosphere for a second.
I was going to say, completely different kind of morning and atmosphere. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just a little small moment, but it was probably, I mean, the family stuff was all great, but just a little thing that takes you out of your head for a second. So that was really nice.
That's awesome. I can totally picture that. I like those mornings that it's just a little bit different and it's wide open, kind of a blank canvas and a completely different feeling or surrounding. And you're just out kind of wandering through it, which is pretty cool.
We had another slightly more mean. Elaine and I went and drank at the Point Reyes bar, which is normally chock full of Ernest Hemingway wannabes. Like they didn't want to commit to Key Largo or Ketchum, so they like Point Reyes, close to San Francisco. They're like a cross between Ernest Hemingway and Thoreau.
Training wheels.
They got the white beards, and yeah, they like to sit around in the bar and drink and philosophize about stuff. So, and then this bar, I found it just by happenstance about 3 years ago. It's one of my favorite places. So at first, they don't really warm up to you because they're so used to tourists rotating in and out. But I just sat there and drank enough beers that we got into the rhythm of so I knew the old hippie bartender. And, I made fun of him for all wanting to be Ernest Hemingway wannabes. And,
you guys bonded?
Got in a good rapport with him. And so tourists would come in and they'd have their really specialty shot. They'd click out with their bicycle shoes on and their spandex, and we'd all make fun of them and have a good time visiting until the next round of tourists came in. So, it's just little things like that I enjoy to do on vacation.
Just being able to somewhat blend in and have fun and not be that guy at a place like that is pretty fun. It says a lot about just how you approach things too. That's the good part about it.
Well, I sort of in my element. I mean, there's literally cows 500 yards out of the little town. So, I mean, sort of there.
Somewhat. Yeah. I just... And when I was laughing, I cracked my ankle on my chair wheel too, and I just peed a little bit. I'm pretty sure that like really smarted. There's like the 4 legs that come out on the chair. They don't make any sense where they're at. I just right on that side of my ankle. Yeah, I'm sure I'll have to Scotch guard my chair when I get up because I think I peed. But I'm okay now. So. Yeah. So my best thing, I had a really cool weekend. I was like, it just seemed like extra good. I had a lot of stuff done. I hadn't made too many extra plans. I just it kind of felt like a 3 or 4 day or like just doing stuff I really wanted to do and wanted to get done, and everything sort of worked like it's supposed to. Sometimes you'll have a bunch of things lined up you want to go do, and the very first thing like just falls flat and blows up, and you're like, well, screw this. But everything kind of came together how I envisioned. And it was like one of the best, like calm, productive, refreshing weekends I've had in a while. And so I appreciated that. And it was just cool to kind of get a good reset almost, sort of like you got to have, but I was in more of a staycation mode. So it was good. I don't know. I can't say particularly why it was. It just felt extra good. And I was like, oh, today's only Sunday. I have like a whole day left to do more stuff. And just like be me. So it was pretty cool because last week was pretty busy and this week's pretty busy. So we'll see how it rolls.
I'm taking it the hurricane was sort of a non-event.
Yes, it was Wednesday. It basically just rained all freaking day. We had some power go out a couple times. Not terribly, but it was sort of random. But because usually when it rains here, you'll get 30 minutes to an hour, and then it kind of clears up, and then it might rain a little bit later on, or might. But Wednesday, it basically just rained all freaking day, and a lot. Like my pool was probably about a millimeter from going over the top. There's behind my place and to the one direction, there's huge drainage canals for like this mega swamp forest wetland preserve behind me, and the water was about probably a foot below the banks on both of those. And I was like, I'd never seen it that high yet either. Of course, the next morning when I went to work, it was already down. Like it just drains, so it doesn't stick around for forever and ever. But yeah, I don't know how many inches of rain we got on Wednesday. It was a lot, a little bit of breeze, but not that bad. So the neighbors are like, that was just a rainstorm. I'm like, yeah, I would agree. So, but a lot because, like I said, it was from Tuesday night till late Wednesday, just a continual pour. So, but nothing, no big storms. There was a tornado, a small tornado a couple blocks away, but more like a little wind, we used to call them dust devil. I think that's probably what it was more like. So yeah, first hurricane of the season, pretty just I told the neighbor, disappointing. So but my yard was so wet I had to weed eat it to cut it because there's no way I could get my mower on it because it would have sank. So like I left footprints just from doing my yard. Yeah. So I surprised my poor neighbors. Yeah, I was like,
any tropical storms on the forefront?
not that I haven't seen any updates. I downloaded one of the 19 million weather apps. I think I have the NOAA one, and it gives you updates. So it appears to be quite calm at the moment for the next few days. So yeah, some random thunder and lightning. We had some rain this afternoon, but that's sort of what happens this time of year is basically you get a little rain shower every day, and it's 85 or so or 90 maybe in a rain shower, then it goes away. So it's kind of nice.
The NOAA Hurricane Center kicks ass.
Yes.
It'll show hurricanes that are like when they develop out of the sand in Africa.
There was a flea that farted and started this going, and so watch your ass. It's basically.
So yeah, you're gonna get some angst and anger from the South Africa here pretty soon. So you better be watching those storms. They're trying to burn it down as we speak.
Maniacs. Can't everybody just get along? Yeah. We'll be ready, hopefully. So, but yeah, I never thought those drainage ditches would get that full, but they did. So they held, they didn't come over the bank. Even if they did, it would still be another, I don't know, probably have to be 5 or 6 foot to get to my house because I have a pretty good little rise where I built. So, but it's cool to see how that rises and then like gone. So interesting. Thanks for the reminder. I totally forgot about Elsa. Is that who it was? The release? Elsa, I think. It started with an E.
No. That natural disaster was way down on my list.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got a 250,000 acre fire right up your backside, and I'm worried about my little rainstorm. So yeah. Anything else for the good of the order, Mr. Bradbury?
No, I just thank everybody for bearing with us this week.
Yeah, we had a great time with our live attempts. We'll try to get that figured out before the next one. Hopefully this thing came out right. I can still hear you just fine on my earphones. So I'm thinking the audio version is going to be good and all that fun stuff on the regular video we put up as well. So we'll see how that rolls. And we'll just keep on keeping on. Appreciate everybody listening and their good comments and letting us know that we cannot hear you. And for some people, that was the highlight of their day. And we thank you for that. I'm glad we could be there for you. That's what we do. So yeah, we'll get the links put up for Richard's YouTube video. He recommends for Entertainment Spotlight. Math Has a Fatal Flaw. It's a YouTube video. So we'll cover over that and we'll bust a move. We'll be back next week, probably same bad time, same bad channel. So until then, keep your pants and your powder dry and keep on reaching.